Welcome back to the last session. I hope through this your confidence has been developed to a certain extent, and now it's just about putting the finishing touches and finalizing your confidence at a higher level. Because like I always say, confidence is what this examination is about. Just to discuss a few success stories with regard to marketing in Sri Lanka. We all know Dilma Tea, a very successful global tea brand. How they became successful was all through marketing. I mean, they created a world-class product, yes, but they identified that Sri Lanka, even as of now, exports almost 75% of our tea in bulk, and we do not do any value additions, and thereby we destroy the chance for the brand name Sri Lanka to be successful further in the tea market. So they created this concept of single origin tea, and where they would be providing all the tea, the value additions and everything, the final tea product from Sri Lanka. They used effective branding, they did proper segmentation, and they've used marketing concepts to really elevate the Sri Lankan tea industry to a higher level and also be successful globally. Even some of the recent product launches in Sri Lanka, such as Sparsilon Ayurveda, identifying that yes, there is a market for Ayurveda, but there is nobody providing luxury Ayurvedic solutions properly. They launched Sparsilon Ayurveda, targeting the luxury-minded Ayurvedic consumers. So these are all examples of how companies have become successful effectively through applying marketing concepts. It's all about how you satisfy the customer, yes, but make the customer feel that you're an important producer or an important product or service in the customer's life. With that, we are done with our discussion of some of the syllabus areas, and we move into verb learning. A few exam techniques which I wish to discuss with you all. The tone of your answer should change according to the verb. For example, when you say describe the benefits or identify solutions, explain the problems, or discuss possible alternatives. All these are different verbs, and according to these verbs, the tone of your answer should change. At the back of every exam paper, it has clearly been mentioned as to how you should approach each verb. Please do stick to it. Describe would mean mentioning the key features. Identify is giving with a reason. So if they say identify why emerging markets are growing, you don't just say they have large amounts of funds. You say because of foreign or Western financial players entering these markets and making their presence, they have more funds available. So you give it with the reason. Explain is a lot about telling in detail, as if you are trying to teach somebody, I would say. And discuss is where you give multiple perspectives to the given solutions. Usually verbs like discuss will come in section C, but mind you, do make a note that sometimes certain verbs can have multiple or two ways of being approached, such as, for example, evaluate. Let's say you are given a case study, and the case study says that a particular director of this company has said, look, if we go into this market, we will be able to gain a competitive advantage. Now there, if you have to evaluate that statement, check whether that country has the conditions required in the diamond theory. Or if it's about a particular proposal saying the managing director is proposing to outsource or offshore a particular operation into another country, then if it says evaluate, then you have to talk about the good and the bad, the positives and negatives of offshoring. So do keep these things in mind. Answer planning, that's another critical aspect. I'm sure nobody would jump into a pool without first checking where's the deep end and where's the shallow end. Answering a question is similar. Your approach has to be similar. My advice is 1/3 of the time taken for the planning of the answer should be taken for planning of the answer. A 10-mark question ideally would have 18 minutes. A 5-mark question would have 9 minutes, because per mark we have 1.8 minutes. Take 1/3 of it. So for a 10-mark question, 18 minutes. Take about 5 to 6 minutes for the planning of the answer. Jot down the structure to prevent keep going back to the case and question all the time. Have your structure, have your plan, and then keep running. Put all your effort, come up with a good plan. What points would you write? How would I start this? What is the introduction? Remember, please do not repeat what is there in the case study all the time in the introduction. Put your own theories. Mention the company name at least in 2 times, or if possible 3 times in a given answer. These are all ways, these are all methods and ways of linking your answer very carefully with the question. So once you are done with the answer, like I said, do go back and cut the particular answer plan that you prepared earlier to prevent the marker from mistaking it to be a part of your answer. So remember, as much as you know theory, it's very important that you also prepare for these exam techniques. A common question that comes across by many is where they ask how much to write, how much of quantity should I write? Well, my advice is try and be guided based on time. In general, 1 page for section, in general, if you really want me to mention you a particular guideline, I would say for a section B question, 3/4 of answer writing page to 1 page is more than enough for 5 marks. For a section C question, it depends on the number of marks. 5-mark question, 3/4 of a page is fine. And for 10 marks, 1 to 1.5 pages. 15 marks, 1.5 to 2 pages of the answer writing book. However, I gave that guideline just to give you some easing on the mind, but try and be guided based on time. You have 10-mark question, you have 18 minutes, 6 minutes for planning, and balance 12 minutes, whatever you can write, I would advise you to write. So don't try to go based on the quantity, but focus on the quality and the timing. A few words of wisdom. I would say, I would like to call this the final words of wisdom to you with regard to the exam. Never get stuck in one question. Remember, what you know is more than what you don't know. I personally know some brilliant students that I have. They are always worried about that one MCQ they might be getting wrong, while the rest of their 9 or maybe 8 questions are correct. This is the human brain's nature. We get one wrong, we forget that, okay, we know all the rest. Don't panic. Like I say, what you know is probably more than what you don't know. Don't get stuck in one question. Keep moving on, right? And the other extreme of this is, at the beginning when you find that things are a little bit easy, you actually tend to take things very calmly, and you don't rush, and you actually take things too slowly. That's the other extreme of the disaster you need to avoid. Make sure that if you find things are easy, if you're finding that, okay, I'm able to write these answers, I have enough time, nothing to worry, don't try to relax too much. Remember, the water may be calm now, however, the storm may be still only on its way. So be ready, maintain an average effort, maintain an average speed, and do make sure that you keep writing with a consistent effort. And of course, should you need any further support in the build up to the exam, you're almost always free to contact me through my email address, tharindu@wisdombusiness.com, tharindu@wisdombusiness.com. I would be glad to help you with any issues that you would be having. I'd like to mention to you one thing. Kindly do not go based on predictions or try to rely too much on predictions. This is a frequent question that is asked. What should we look at? What are the areas that we should only look at? Remember, there is no substitute to hard work. Be ready for all the syllabus areas. The examiner and the marker can look at the entire syllabus and give you from any area. It may only be a small area in your book. It may be just 2 or 3 lines, but you can end up getting even a question worth about 5 to 10 marks. So be prepared on all areas of the syllabus. I repeat, be prepared on all areas of the syllabus. Brush through them. However, if you find that particular areas are difficult for you more than the others, focus on them more. Even questions, look at questions that you would have done so far. Look at the answers and try to figure out how to approach them. So this is the ideal way that in which you could ideally approach this exam. Coming into my last slide. It's been a wonderful 90-minute session with you all on these 2 days, and I wish you all the best. But for more than your sake or my sake, I wish you all the best for the sake of this nation. Why do I say that? We are a country blessed with resources. However, we lack the talent to manage them. True enough, our students, in many cases, they are brilliant in their calculations and mathematics subjects. They are brilliant in management and financial accounting, but they shun and they avoid and they try to keep away from all these management topics, from management subjects. Remember, do not be a human calculator. You can be easily replaced by a much more faster computer system. Be a manager who is skilled in his or her numbers. That's the need of this hour. You know that there are certain commodities in our country which we export out of our country, and we get about $8.5 million for about 5,000 kilos that we export. However, we need to import them back again for our own usage, paying about $12.5 million for 1,000 kilos. This is the situation that has arisen. To overcome this, we need to have managers who are skilled in numbers, and that's you. That's your responsibility. Be both confident and comfortable in numbers as well as in your management skills. I wish you all the best and good luck for the EO November 2011 exam. Thank you.